Marcus wiped his hands on his apron, clocked out of the diner, and stepped into the cool night. It was just past midnight. He tightened his jacket and began the walk home, earbuds in, nodding to the soft hum of jazz. A screech of tires broke the calm. Red and blue lights lit up the street. Marcus froze. 3 squad cars boxed him in. Hands up, an officer barked, weapon drawn. Confused, Marcus raised his hands. What's going on? Shut up. Turn around. Before he could speak again, he was slammed onto the hood of a cruiser. A knee pressed into his back. I work at the diner. I just got off. Yeah? And I'm the Queen of England, an officer sneered. They yanked his backpack off, dumped out his notepad, his daughter's drawing, a sandwich wrapped in foil. No weapon. No money. Nothing. A small crowd formed. A woman with a phone tried to record. Put that down or you're going in too, an officer snapped. The woman hesitated, lowered the phone. Marcus Jennings, another cop, read from his ID. Yeah, that's our guy. Matches the description. What description? Marcus asked, breath shaky. Black male, gray hoodie, mid-30s. Robbed a liquor store 3 blocks from here. Clerk's in the hospital. I didn't rob anyone. I've been working all night. Ask my boss. Save it for the judge. Cuffed, pushed into the back seat, Marcus looked out the window, confused and terrified. At the station, he sat in the cold cell, hands trembling. A younger guy in the next cell leaned over. What they get you for? Nothing, Marcus said, voice hollow. Said I robbed someone. I was at work. The guy laughed bitterly. Ain't that always the story? Marcus leaned his head against the wall. In his pocket, he found his daughter's folded drawing. A stick figure family, him, her, and the words, I love you, Daddy. He closed his eyes. By morning, the story hit local news. Armed suspect apprehended. Clerk critically injured. Police act swiftly. They showed Marcus' mugshot. A grainy photo that made him look angry, dangerous. He watched the news from the holding cell TV. This isn't me, he whispered. A tired officer approached. Your arraignment's tomorrow. You got a public defender. Can I make a call? The officer pointed at the phone. Marcus dialed his sister. No answer. He left a voicemail. Keisha, it's me. I need help. I didn't do this. Please come. He hung up and sat in silence. The cell door clanged shut again. Behind him, someone muttered, another one, huh? Marcus didn't respond. He stared at the floor, hands folded, heart pounding. He had no weapon, no record, no motive. Only his skin matched the description. And tomorrow he would face a courtroom ready to condemn him. The courtroom buzzed with quiet murmurs. Reporters took notes. Cameras clicked. Officers stood along the walls. Marcus, in an orange jumpsuit, was led through a side door, wrists cuffed, eyes low. He didn't look up. He didn't need to. He already knew how they saw him. His public defender leaned in. We'll plead not guilty, push for a bail hearing. Try to get you out while we work the defense. I didn't do anything, Marcus whispered. I know, the lawyer replied, barely looking him in the eye. The bailiff's voice rang out. All rise. Everyone stood. The courtroom doors opened and Judge Claire Whitmore walked in, black robe flowing, face unreadable. She moved to her bench, adjusted her glasses, and sat. You may be seated. Claire scanned the file handed to her. Case number 8726. Marcus Jennings, charged with robbery and aggravated assault. She looked up and froze. Her breath caught. Marcus. Older, tired, but unmistakable. His eyes. His face. Her mind raced. This couldn't be real. She looked back down at the file, then again at him. Marcus seemed unaware. She swallowed hard. Defendant, please step forward. Marcus looked up, slowly met her gaze. His eyes narrowed, brows furrowed. Claire's voice faltered for a moment. State your name for the record. Marcus Jennings. The sound of it hit her chest like a drum. A flash in her mind, 2 children racing through a field, laughing. A black boy with a scraped knee. A white girl handing him a band-aid. Their secret handshake, their tree. She blinked the memory away. The charges are robbery and aggravated assault. How do you plead? His voice was steady, but his eyes held hers. Not guilty. Claire nodded. Bail recommendation? The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, the suspect is a flight risk and a danger to the community. We recommend denial of bail. The public defender barely objected. Your Honor, my client has no record, stable employment, a daughter. He was arrested with no evidence beyond appearance. Claire didn't speak for a moment. She looked back at Marcus. He didn't flinch. His eyes held something between disbelief and hope. Did she remember? Did she even care? Claire turned to the prosecutor. Was there surveillance footage submitted? Under review, Your Honor. Any confirmed eyewitnesses? One clerk identified him from a photo lineup. Claire leaned back, tapping her gavel once. Given the defendant's clean record and the circumstances, bail is set at $5,000. Next hearing in 2 weeks. Gasps echoed. The prosecutor started to protest, but she cut him off. My courtroom. My ruling. Marcus looked stunned. His lawyer glanced sideways, confused. This wasn't typical. As the session ended, Claire rose and left the bench. Marcus was led back through the side door, but before he exited, he looked back. She glanced at him. And in that second, he saw it. Recognition. Claire stepped into her chambers, locked the door, and leaned against it, breathing hard. Marcus, what happened to you? Judge Claire Whitmore sat alone in her chambers, fingers trembling as she opened the old wooden drawer of her desk. She reached under a stack of law books and pulled out a dusty photo album, hidden there for years. She flipped through it slowly, page by page, until she found him. There he was, a boy in a red t-shirt with grass stains on his knees, arm around her shoulder, both smiling like they owned the world. She touched the photo, lips trembling. Marcus Jennings, she whispered. How did you end up in my courtroom? Her mind slipped back in time. Summer of '91. 4th grade. They met at Jefferson Elementary. She was the quiet white girl no one talked to. He was the black kid who made everyone laugh. They became inseparable. She remembered their secret handshake. 3 slaps, a spin, then a pinky promise. He always brought extra cookies in his lunch and gave her half. They made up stories together under the giant oak tree behind the school. They called it the spot. No teachers, no bullies, just them. He was her best friend. Claire remembered how he stood up for her when Tommy Harris threw her books in the mud. Marcus shoved Tommy so hard he got suspended. She cried for days until he came back. I got your back, he'd said. Always. Then came middle school. Claire's parents moved her to a private school across town. She hated it. She begged them to let her stay. They didn't listen. She wrote Marcus a letter the night before she left. Told him he was her best friend, and she'd never forget him. She put it in his locker at school. He never wrote back. Years passed. She always wondered why. Part of her thought he forgot. Another part hoped he'd just moved on and had a better life. But now, the truth sat in her courtroom wearing an orange jumpsuit, looking at her like a ghost from a better past. She closed the album. Her eyes burned. Was it really him? Had the system dragged him down all these years? Her assistant knocked. Judge Whitmore? Court's adjourned. Do you need anything? She quickly wiped her eyes. No. I'm fine. The door closed again. Claire walked to the mirror on the far wall. She looked at herself, polished, powerful, respected. Then she saw Marcus again, 10 years old, dirt on his cheek, holding her hand, promising they'd always look out for each other. I left you behind, she whispered. Her chest ached with guilt. Had she let the world split them apart? Had she climbed so high she couldn't see who was crushed beneath? She stared at the photo one more time. The boy in red was gone, and in his place stood a man the world was trying to break. She closed the album and stood tall. Not in my courtroom, she thought. Not him. Marcus sat in the courtroom lobby, out on bail, suit borrowed from his brother-in-law. He stared at the floor, legs bouncing. His sister Keisha sat beside him, hand on his knee. You okay? She asked softly. No, he muttered. I'm not. The door opened. Jennings, a clerk called. Marcus stood, adjusted his tie. Here. Judge Whitmore requested a brief chamber meeting. Marcus blinked. Me? Why? Just you. Follow me. Keisha frowned. You sure that's normal? Marcus nodded slowly. I don't know what normal is anymore. He followed the clerk down the quiet hallway, past rows of framed portraits. The clerk knocked once, opened the door. In here. Marcus stepped in. Judge Whitmore stood by the window, robe off, blouse and slacks neatly pressed. The door clicked shut behind him. For a moment, neither spoke. Claire turned slowly, eyes locking with his. It really is you, she said softly. Marcus stared. Claire. She smiled, just barely. Took you long enough? I wasn't sure. Thought maybe I imagined it. I didn't, she said. You still look the same. Just taller. Tired. Marcus chuckled bitterly. Yeah, well, prison cells don't come with rest. She stepped forward, hesitant, then stopped. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. You disappeared, he said. One day you were there, next day, gone. I wrote you a letter. He blinked. What letter? In your locker. She paused, eyes wide. You didn't get it. No. They stood in silence. The distance of decades hung between them. I thought you forgot about me, he said quietly. I never did, she replied. Marcus took a slow breath. Crazy way to meet again, huh? Me in cuffs. You in a robe. Her voice trembled. You shouldn't even be here. Not like this. I didn't do what they said. I was just walking home. Claire nodded. I believe you. He looked up, stunned. You do. You think I forgot you? She asked. I remember every summer, every laugh. You were the only real friend I had. He swallowed hard. Same. She walked closer now, standing just a few feet away. I'm not supposed to talk to you like this. It's a conflict of interest. I should recuse myself. Marcus clenched his jaw. Then do it. She looked hurt. I don't want favors, Claire. Not from you. She nodded. I understand. But I want the truth, he said. I want to be seen for what I am. Not a suspect. Not a threat. Just a man trying to survive. She blinked fast. Her voice broke. I see you. The silence that followed was full of everything they'd lost and everything they still had. He stepped back toward the door. Thank you. For remembering me. I never stopped, she whispered. As he left, Claire looked out the window again, tears streaking down her face. This wasn't just a trial anymore. This was redemption for both of them. The next morning, Claire sat in her office reviewing case files. Sleep hadn't come easy. The weight of Marcus's eyes haunted her. She picked up the police report again and read every line, this time not as a judge, but as someone who knew him. Suspect fled scene. Victim identified him from photo lineup. No weapon recovered. No fingerprints confirmed. None of it added up. She buzzed her clerk. Get me the surveillance footage from the liquor store. And call the public defender, tell him to meet me with Marcus's time card and employment records. The clerk hesitated. Judge, that's not standard. I'm not asking for standard. I'm asking for truth. Minutes later, she had the footage. She leaned in. The timestamp read 10:41 p.m. The assailant wore a gray hoodie and mask. Moved fast. Slim build. Height estimate 5 feet 8 inches, maybe 5 feet 9 inches. Marcus was 6 feet 2 inches. Broad-shouldered. No limp. No hesitation. The robber looked like a teen, not a grown man with a job and a daughter. She hit replay. Over and over. The footage screamed, this isn't Marcus. The public defender arrived with Marcus's records. I pulled these last night. He clocked out of the diner at 11:02 p.m. It's a 20-minute walk from the robbery scene. No way he was there. Claire nodded. Why didn't you bring this up in court? The lawyer shrugged. Most of these cases don't go deep. You know how it is, overworked, underfunded. Claire gave him a sharp look. That's not good enough. She made another call to her own private investigator. Need a rush job, she said. I want surveillance from nearby shops. ATM cams. Anything near the liquor store. And pull police body cam footage from the arrest. I want to know everything. By afternoon, the pieces started falling into place. A witness from a convenience store across the street caught a clearer image of the robber, shorter, lighter-skinned, visibly younger. No beard. Different build. The arresting officer's body cam showed them tackling Marcus within seconds of stopping him. No reading of rights, no questioning. Just force and assumption. The more Claire saw, the angrier she became. She called the DA's office. You charged an innocent man. I want that case reevaluated now. The assistant DA sounded annoyed. We followed protocol. The clerk picked him out. From a blurry image and pressure from cops. No weapon, no evidence, no motive. You're framing him. That's a big accusation, Judge. No. That's a fact. She slammed the phone down. She knew now Marcus wasn't just wrongly accused. He was targeted. Fit the description. Black. Alone. Easy. Claire closed the files, chest tight. It wasn't just about Marcus anymore. It was about every black man thrown behind bars because no one cared to look closer. But this time someone was looking. And she wasn't going to stop. The courtroom was packed. News had spread. Judge Whitmore had reopened the case file herself. Reporters lined the back rows. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but that didn't stop them from circling the courthouse like vultures. Marcus sat at the defense table, suit pressed, eyes locked forward. No shackles today. No cuffs. His sister Keisha sat in the front row, hands clasped in silent prayer. Claire entered, robe on, face stone cold. Court is now in session. She looked directly at the prosecutor. Before we proceed, has the district attorney's office reviewed the new evidence? The prosecutor cleared his throat. Yes, Your Honor. We received the additional surveillance footage, body cam review, and time card evidence provided by the defense. And? We acknowledge the suspect on video does not clearly match the defendant. Furthermore, the timeline of events and additional footage suggests the defendant could not have been present at the scene of the robbery. Gasps spread through the courtroom. Claire turned to the public defender. "Would you like to speak?" He rose, nodding. "Your Honor, the evidence confirms what my client has said from the start. He is innocent. He was targeted without cause and identified under pressure. We are requesting full dismissal of all charges and that the record be cleared." Claire looked at Marcus. He wasn't smiling. Just watching. Waiting. Her voice was steady. "Mr. Jennings, please stand." He rose. Claire's voice softened just a little. "This court finds that the evidence does not support the charges brought against you. All charges are hereby dismissed. You are free to go and your record will be expunged." Silence fell. And then, applause. The bailiff tried to quiet the room, but people were already on their feet. Keisha burst into tears. Marcus's eyes didn't move, he was frozen. Processing. He turned slowly toward Claire. She met his eyes. This wasn't joy. It was release. A man breathing for the first time in months. Marcus stepped out of the defense box, slowly walking toward the exit. He paused just once, looked back at the judge's bench. Claire gave him a faint nod. He returned it. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed as Marcus stepped into the sunlight. Reporters shouted questions. Keisha hugged him tight. "What now?" she asked. "I breathe," he said. "I live again." Back in her chambers, Claire pulled off her robe and placed it carefully on the hanger. She sat down, hands trembling. She'd upheld the law, but more than that, she'd honored a promise made beneath an old oak tree. They were just kids when they made it. "I got your back," he once told her. This time she had his. And the world had watched. Days passed, but the weight of Marcus's case never quite left the air. He was free, but the world wasn't so easily forgotten. His name had been cleared, his record expunged, but the scars of that wrongful accusation still lingered. People knew his face now, thanks to the media frenzy. Some looked at him with respect, others with suspicion. He couldn't erase what they had done to him, not completely. But one thing was certain, he had his life back. Keisha stood by him, just as she had since that first terrifying phone call. "You don't have to keep explaining yourself," she told him one night as they sat on his porch, the cool evening breeze brushing through the trees. "I know, but it's hard. People keep asking me questions," he said, rubbing his hands together. I don't get how this happened. How could they get it so wrong?" She looked at him with understanding. "I don't know, Marcus. But you're not the only one this happens to. You're just the one who got lucky enough to have someone fight for you." That thought weighed heavily on him. He wasn't special. There were hundreds, maybe thousands, of men just like him who didn't have the childhood friendship of a judge willing to fight for them. It was easy to get lost in the system, to become just another statistic. But Marcus had been saved by that one rare thing, Claire Whitmore's decision to act on what she knew in her heart was right. Meanwhile, Claire, back at her desk, couldn't shake the case. She read through more files of wrongful convictions, more cases of innocent men like Marcus, like so many others who had been swept up by the criminal justice system. She stayed up late, her eyes blurred from reading case after case, her heart heavy with the realization that her courtroom, her decisions weren't always as just as she thought. Claire made it her mission to bring reform. She pushed for more transparency, more accountability in police work. She reached out to advocacy groups for the wrongly accused and made speeches on the need for change. Her friendship with Marcus had rekindled her passion to make a difference. She wasn't going to stand idly by anymore. Marcus, though, was determined to rebuild his life. He went back to the diner. His boss gave him his old job back and the regulars greeted him with smiles, though some with a bit of hesitation. But Marcus was patient. He knew things wouldn't change overnight. But he also knew something deep down, that what happened to him could have happened to anyone. And now he had a platform to make sure people knew that. The media followed him for a while, but as time went on, they moved on to the next story, the next headline. But for Marcus and Claire, this wasn't just a case. It was a life-altering event that would shape both of them for years to come. Marcus never forgot the moment he stood in that courtroom, his freedom in the hands of his childhood friend. He knew that there was power in standing up for what's right, even when the world tried to make you small. As for Claire, she knew she couldn't fix everything, but she was determined to fix as much as she could. And it was all because of one person, one man who dared to stay strong in the face of everything that tried to tear him down. The world could be a dark place sometimes, but there was light in the people who chose to stand together, who chose to fight for what was right. If you believe in standing up for the truth, standing by those who need you, and making a real difference in the world, then this story is for you. What do you think about Marcus's case? How do you feel about the justice system? What would you have done if you were in Marcus's shoes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with more powerful stories like this one. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Let's spread awareness and make a difference together.